Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is Sarah Saxby, and this is a podcast where we talk about truth because everything in our life has been a lie. And today I want to talk about self-erasure. The things that we have to do, the way that we have to erase ourselves to make sure our life stays intact. I find it interesting that it's probably very hard to even think that you are erasing yourself at all to stay in your life because we've gotten so used to suffering as the normal way of operating. The background noise, the undercurrent of our life is suffering by default, with some moments of maybe less pressure, maybe some moments of laughing and peace and things like that. But for the most part, there's like this dance that we do to erase ourselves to keep the peace in our lives, to keep our life intact as it is. So, how much of yourself do you have to erase on a regular basis to keep your life intact, to make sure that nothing falls apart? What you have agreed to trade to keep your life intact, that particular life was one that you were handed when you were born. You were told, this is exactly the way life is. It's like we're handed this menu and there's only certain things on it. And it is the right way. It is the only way. If you experience any sort of unhappiness or hollowness while you are accomplishing all the items on this menu of life, if you experience any sort of hollowness or unhappiness, there's something wrong with you, because you should be ultimately happy and joyous and all these things when you're checking off all the milestones. The life you were told is the only way to live. And it's so mind-blowing because we never question the life itself. We never think that the way we were told to live is incorrect. That has to be the correct way. And if I am not appreciative, if I'm not grateful for all the things, there's something wrong with me. I need to get therapy to learn how to fit into the life. It's not the structure of the life itself. It's the fact that if I'm not happy within that structure, I need therapy or medication. Everything's going to try to help you fit back into the life that you're not happy with. It's not the life structure. It's you that is the problem. So every time we go and try to get help, we take a workshop, we read a book, we get therapy, we take medication, it's because we're trying to shape ourselves back into the life that we were told is the only way. It's like we're water balloons and someone hands you this little box and says, okay, fit this water balloon into this box. Here's the box. Now fit yourself into it. It's like you're sitting there. Every single time you try to poke that water balloon into the box, it doesn't want to fit in there. But you have to fit in there. Because if you don't, something's wrong with you. You have a problem. It's not the box. The box is perfect. It's the fact that you as a water balloon, you're not fitting into it. So what happens? Take a class, you're trying to fit yourself into the box. Read a book, go to therapy, take medication, you're trying to fit yourself into a box that doesn't fit. If you can't fit in, there's something wrong. So keep trying. But what happens when we keep looking to these outside things, these outside ways that will help us fit into this box? Eventually, the water balloon's going to explode. But we keep trying because we firmly believe it's not the box. It's not the life we were handed that's messed up. It's not that structure. It's me. I have a problem. I can't fit into it. I feel hollow in my life, but look at all the things I created. I have a great marriage and I have beautiful kids and I have a beautiful home and I get to go on vacations and we have money in the bank. It's my fault that I feel hollow. Help me not feel hollow. We reach out to the book and the class and the workshop and the medication. Help me feel less hollow in the life that promised me happily ever after. Because it's me that's the problem. So I asked a few people. I asked them what percentage of their life do they actually enjoy? And of course, they immediately went to calculations. Well, every day is kind of different. I have to work a lot. It's almost like that doesn't count. You mean times I'm not at work, the times I'm not running around, the times I'm not just scrolling on Facebook, the times I'm not just posting, the times I'm not running errands? How much of your life do you actually enjoy? And you can say, well, define enjoy. I don't know. How much do you do willingly? How much of your life is willingly and not something that you're forced to do because you have to survive? And the consensus that I got was about 10%. Okay, so we're here in this reality right now, and this is all we have. This is all we have is right now. And we're enjoying about 10% of it. So where are we getting to then? We're accepting 10% of our life as enjoyable. So what is it all for? Where are we getting to? While we are running our errands and we're working and we're paying bills and we're scrolling and we're posting, 10% of it is actually enjoyable. Another good question is, when is the last time you didn't want the day to end? Because the end of the day is when you don't have to experience all the pressure. Whatever you're juggling, you could be juggling emptiness in a life that looks beautiful on the outside, right? You could be juggling exhaustion. You could be juggling being in an empty marriage. You could be juggling debt or a fear of failure, whatever. So when we go to sleep at night, at least it's like we get to hopefully not have to think about it or deal with it while we're sleeping. It's like relief. So when is the last time you actually didn't want the day to end? And I can imagine that most of you will say, well, I was in Hawaii and oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Okay. So you're saying the last time you recall not wanting the day to end was when you were on vacation, when you were escaping your day-to-day life. So when is it in your day-to-day life that you didn't want the day to end? If this is all we have is right now, we're experiencing this reality. We were put into this reality, regardless of why you think we're here. We are here. And somehow we have been brainwashed to believe that we should only accept 10% as actual enjoyment. Don't you think that there's something wrong with that? Somehow we have been made to believe that we should be grateful for a measly 10%. The entire thing is slavery. We're struggling somewhere. We're hollow somewhere. And how could a perfect soul, because many of us would agree that we have a soul in here, right? We have these bodies that we're experiencing this reality through. So if we are absolute perfection, why would we ever settle for anything less? Just because we were told, we're brainwashed into saying, well, I have this vacation coming that I'm looking forward to, so I'm just going to work really, really hard so I can tell myself I deserve this vacation. We think that little of ourselves. But this is all we have, right? This is where we experience our lives. But what are we doing with them? What are we actually working for? If you're seeking things to always try to feel better inside this life, right? So you enjoy 10% of it. And you're like, okay, well, I want to enjoy about 30% of it. You're still selling yourself quite short. If this is where we experience life. So you're like, I'm going to go on vacation and hopefully I can just not think about things, or I'm going to take this workshop. And you're like, I feel good. You're still selling yourself short. But what do you think is going to happen? What is promised from these self-help things? What is promised, and what do you think you're going to eventually feel? And I think it's a place that has no name, because what you're saying is, I hope that I don't have so much pressure. I hope that I don't have so much sadness. I hope that I don't feel so hollow. I'm taking this class because I want to feel better about myself. It never ends. It never ends because we're trying to solve a non-physical problem with physical things. We can constantly do physical things to try to make ourselves feel better in the life that looks beautiful but feels hollow. We can keep adding things on, but it's a non-physical problem. You can say the world is absolutely off its fucking rails. Most of us will agree. It's getting nuts. And you can say, hey, let's get together and let's buy land and live off grid. You're still living inside this reality. You haven't left it. You're moving locations from one prison to another prison that may provide you with more beauty and maybe some more freedom, but you are still inside this reality. We're just on a hamster wheel trying to fix ourselves. We just want to feel a little bit better while we're here, and we're accepting 10% enjoyment while we're here in this reality. We keep reaching for the next book, the next workshop, the next therapy session, the next medication. And we always seem to wind up back in the same place, but we never question why that is. We're fixing a non-physical issue with something physical. We keep doing it over and over again, and nothing is changing. You can move to another location, get another house, get another car, find another spouse. But is it really getting you to escape the hamster wheel? Or are you just constantly decorating the walls of your prison? Where are you erasing yourself to make sure your life doesn't change? And is it still worth the self-erasure?